Want me to start over? Applicant Zember Group LLC, care of John Wultia, 14600 Detroit Avenue, Suite 1500, Lakewood, Ohio. Information relating to the applications filed with the Department of Planning and Community Development is available for public inspection at the Town Hall, 60 Center Square. View an electronic version, go to www.eastlandville.gov. For the board, James Channing, clerk.
Okay, do we have anybody here on behalf of the petitioner? If you want to step forward, give your name, address.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is John Wojtyla, the applicant or petitioner for this item. With me today, Joe DeHamel with Dupree Engineering, so they're our local engineering consultant. Behind me in the first row, Justin Bruce, also with the Zaremba Group, is here, along with Ethan Turney. Ethan is the retail or the area manager for Bridgestone Retail Operations out of Springfield. So he's the operational folks if you have any questions relative to the proposed operation. Company I work for is Zaremba Group, and we're located in Lakewood, Ohio, which is just west of Cleveland. We have the property under contract to purchase. We are a preferred developer with Bridgestone Retail Operations, so we have the privilege of working in approximately a dozen different states right now, developing new stores for them. Most of them are under the Firestone Complete Auto Care Center, which is what's being proposed here. I'll talk about the site plan, I'll talk about the area, I'll talk a little bit about Bridgestone, or Firestone, I should say. And I'll turn it over to Joe to talk more about the site plan and the variances that were requested. You could go to the slide that shows the area. I think it's the first one. So we're on, as mentioned, we're at 546 North Main Street, just east of the Friendly's Restaurant on the south side of South Main Street, or North Main Street, I should say. As was mentioned, the zoning district is a business zoning district, and we're proposing a Firestone Complete Auto Care Center. The next slide. So this is a copy of the survey that we had prepared. So it's about a 0.92 acre lot. Can I get up and point to this?
Yeah.
So we have North Main Street here. There's the Friendly's Restaurant building sitting there. The existing building is located here. There's a couple canopy structures, one that's just west of the existing building, along with the canopy structure towards the back. And the previous use was a commercial produce facility that looks like it's been vacant for a couple of years. What's unique about the site is not only do we have the North Main Street right away to the north, but to the east is Londrigan Place, which is a right of way, never built, but there are utilities in Londrigan Place, along with Amaretta Avenue, which is just to the bottom of the screen. So that's also public right of way, used more as utility easements because there are utility facilities in both of those rights of way. The property is two different lots, and the front lot is lot 76-1 and the back lot is 76AC. You can see this line is the zoning district change line. So the rear lot, which is not as deep as the front lot, does have the zoning district change from the commercial use to the residential use.
And do you know the distance from the on the plan and from the zone line? Because I think the back part of that, the second lot is residential zone.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we have the dimension.
81.5 feet.
If you want, I can show you on the screen, or I can just tell you the answer. It's up.
You can do both.
Okay, so if you go to the very last slide, Rob, that would be helpful.
Sure.
So that 26-foot dimension is from the rear property line that we have under contract to the zoning lot line. And it looks to be a little bit, the second lot, or the north part of that lot, it looks to be a slightly larger than the 26 feet. And then over there is 26.1. So basically, there's 26 feet of the property that we have under contract that is zoned the residential use. Or residential zone, I should say, not use. If you could go back to maybe slides, let's see, we were on 5. If you go back to 5, that would be helpful.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
All 3, we were on 3.
Yeah, 3. It is mostly paved in the front. There's a small island where there's a pole sign, and a lot of paving in the back. It's primarily developed in that southern lot. The existing operations, I should say, is primarily undeveloped. If you could go to the next. Yeah, that just shows a picture of the existing conditions. Google Street View. So it just shows the existing building. And the main building is behind the pylon sign with the canopy structure to the right there. Go to the building rendering, which is in page 6 slides. This is a view of the proposed building that we're presenting. Again, it's a Firestone Complete Auto Care Center. It's an 8-bay facility. So on the back side is where the 8 service bays have their entrance. The customer entry is where the red feature is. So that's where the customers would enter and talk to the gentleman and people in the store. And that's where the small waiting area is. And then the rest of the facility, and it's about a 6,600 square foot building. The rest of the facility is the service bays. It is an upgraded building. We have storefront along the front facing North Main Street. Additional storefront that we typically don't provide along the west facing Friendly's. Go to the next slide, which shows the colored up elevation.
Can we go to the next slide?
Please. So this is the south elevation, so you can see the service bays. Same theme throughout on all 4 elevations. We have the bump ups. The primary building material is called Nichiha. It's a decorative panel, a cementitious material, and then there's also some decorative ephes, Nichiha along the base. The north elevation is what faces North Main Street. This west elevation is what faces towards the Friendly's. Again, we have our customer entry there, highlighted by the red entry feature. Again, with decorative storefront that we normally don't provide, along with decorative awnings in multiple locations. And then the east elevation, which would face east, again, has the same Nichiha material. So again, it's an upgraded building that we think fits in well with the area.
In terms of the bays, will they back out of the bays
Yep.
when they come in?
Yeah.
They back out?
Yeah, there's, if you go to the site plan, anyone, maybe right above it, is fine. Yeah, that's fine. There's quite a bit of area between the parking and the bay doors, so they can pull in, back in. We do have truck deliveries. The trucks can easily maneuver the site, either whether coming in from the west or coming in from the east.
And how high are those bay drawers? I mean, my concern is trucks that would pull into the bay for work and they back up beepers. I just am concerned in terms of, trucks that would be backing out and the beeping noise that you get when they're doing it in reverse.
Yeah.
That noise and try to buffer that and keep that from the neighbors. But I didn't know what the overhead, I mean,
Yeah, typically-
could I drive a panel truck in there?
Yeah.
for Service.
Service money No.
We have the ability to, but it's not,
Well, I just didn't know how much, but I am concerned because a car typically wouldn't have a backup beeper, but, if you had a panel truck or other types of trucks, getting the service. I don't think a pickup truck would have that, but a panel truck or any other truck would have a beeper on that.
That's the minority of it, yeah.
And I think the typical door height is about 8 feet, the bay doors. And it's your typical kind of.
Yeah, well, I just want to make it the most, your
Pretty sure
panel trucks are bigger than 8 feet.
8 feet, yeah, it might be 10 feet. Any idea? Well, here, let me give you a copy. It's not really dimensioned off of the elevation, but it's either 8 or 10 feet. To the bay door.
I mean, the type of vehicles that these general stores have, is there any particular percentage that's either more residential or commercial?
Yeah, the typical vehicle is, a pickup truck, car, like
Yep.
Ethan mentioned, very, very few panel trucks. So a little bit about, if you could go to back to the slide 7, that'd be helpful. So the typical hours for the Firestone Complete Auto Care Center is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday to Friday, 7 to 6, so 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, and then 9 to 5 on Sunday.
Give me the Saturday again.
Saturday is 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.,
Okay.
and Sunday is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Very clean and efficient operation. There's no heavy engine work, no body repair done. All the work is performed inside the building. Typically, about 14 employees with 8 employees on the largest shift working at the facility. You could go to the colored up site plan, or 6 would be helpful. So we have both the engineered site plan that Joe worked on, and that was one of the previous slides that has a lot of dimensions. But this plan is helpful in that with the colors, it shows pavement versus buildings. So we do have the 25-foot building setback off of North Main Street. That provides a good opportunity for buffering there. We also have an area in the back, which is shown with the lighter green here. So that is meant to be a buffer area, landscape area, screening. There would be some grade change, particularly in this area. The existing ground goes up quite significantly. So we would anticipate some retaining wall back here. So the Firestone would sit lower than the property behind us. As you go east, though, it decreases, as this is relatively flat, I guess, for lack of a better term. So it does decrease on that. So if we likely will have a retaining wall, to what extent, I'm not exactly sure. We haven't done.
The maximum height, do you know, of the retaining wall?
Probably back here, I'm guessing in the 6 to 8 foot range.
Gonna be a block or a concrete?
It'd probably be a concrete poured in place retaining wall. It would be visible from the Firestone would sit lower, so it'd be visible from the Firestone side.
Yeah, it'd be visible from North Main Street, but
Yeah,
not necessarily visible from
Yeah.
behind.
yep.
Trash, is that the trash
Yeah.
in the far corner? That's where the dumpster is?
That's exactly right. So it's a fully enclosed masonry enclosure. There's also a used tire enclosure that's behind it, and that has a roof on it. And so they store the used tires there, and then the used tires get picked up out of that. So it's a.
Yeah, and when are those pickup and deliveries? I mean, it's, yeah, because you got a neighborhood somewhat near there, and my concern is, I want to try to make sure that it's not happening in the middle of the night or
Oh, no.
in the morning.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That the
Yeah.
deliveries are,
Yeah.
while you're open and operating.
Always while we're opening, those teammates receive them from the truck. It's never when they're outside of operating hours.
Okay, no, I just didn't know, like the dumpsters in some cases come at, weird hours. When people get upset when they hear the backing up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So that was what I wanted to talk about on the items. With that, I'll turn it over to Joe to talk more specifically about the site plan and the variances that were requested.
How you doing? Good evening. I'm Joe Duhamel with Dupree Engineering. I'm a project manager. been working with Zambra Group for close to a year on this, 9 months on this project. Our office performed the on-the-ground survey, boundary survey, site utility survey, topographic survey, and developed an existing conditions-based plan, and then worked with the team on developing the site plan. As part of the review of the project, there's a few unique conditions as part of the variance request. John spoke of on the multiple frontages along North Main Street, 3 frontages along the site. We have the split zoning condition, and I believe he touched upon the Friendly's store on the left, west side of the site. If you were to see on the existing conditions plan,
Do you want me to pull it back up? Sorry. I took it.
please, yes.
I can do that.
Well, to provide survey, we've delineated some permanent encroachments that the abutting parcel has that are permanent and can be disturbed as part of our development. So I'll get into a second, but a lot of our development is restricted, if you will, on this western side. John spoke of the topographic of the site. It rises from, goes from the southwest at 227 down to the corner of North Main Street to 214, so it's a good pitch across the site. So coupled with the frontages tying into the existing site features, encroachments on the left, and the topography of the site, we work to develop the site plan. Go to that next, Rob. Thank you. So what we did for the site to develop based on the site constraints, we worked from the existing curb cuts, work on the operations of the site to develop the minimum need for this project to make it viable. We held the edge of the encroachments on our west. We looked at the minimum wall distances and heights in order to develop the site and the truck turning movements into the project. So we have this continual flow from North Main Street and then a secondary using that existing access onto Longden Place.
So that entrance is going to be an entrance only, or is it an exit and entrance to one to the west?
At this time, it's full access,
Both
entrance
in
in.
and out?
Correct.
Okay.
The site has existing utilities. We intend to leave the existing services or on for the parcel or on Langdon Place. We intend to improve those for the future development of the project. There's additional engineering work that would have to take place, but we have landscape areas in the front along North Main Street, to the rear of the property, along the parking spaces, and site access, into the store. Main door access would be on the western side of the proposed building with ADA compliant spaces. Building. So as far as the application, the variance request we're requesting is a side yard setback, or front yard setback, excuse me, off of Laundry's Place of 19 feet. And then a relief from the split zoning of on the rear of 81 feet.
I don't mind talking about the variances. You want to go to the last slide? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, could you just restate what the relief is again, just so the public.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, well.
So we put this together to show the variances that we're requesting. So this orange dashed line here is the 100-foot setback from the split zone line where it's zoned residential to the south and business to the north. So this 100-foot offset line is this orange dashed line. So the code says automobile use is to be 100 feet from a residential zone. So right now we have 81 and 81.5 feet. So the relief, or 81 feet, so the relief being requested is 19 feet in that area. I'll stick with that variance request for the moment. What I wanted to point out is, so there's an additional 26 feet of the residential zone property that we would own and maintain and wouldn't intend to do anything with that. Additionally, further to the south is the right-of-way for Amaretta Avenue, and that's 50 feet. So the first residential property to the south is 81.5 plus the 26 plus the 50.2, if that makes sense. So 81, 26, and then the 50 feet. So that's 157.7 feet in actuality from our proposed building, the closest point to the first residential property, or the residential property south of
Property line.
Amaretta Avenue. Yeah, the property line for the residential properties to Amaretta Avenue. So we think that's an important factor, that it's actually 157.7 feet to the actual residential properties to the south. And then, again, we intend a huge buffer to the south with, mounding, landscaping, fencing to provide that buffer.
And there'll be fencing on the top of the wall?
Yeah,
Or is it gonna be on the ground, is it?
Yeah, I was thinking we'd mound it up and then put plantings on both sides, but then put a board-on-board fence on top of the mound. So a 6-foot fence on top of perhaps a 4-foot mound. So you'd have 10 foot, and the parking field would be lower than that in
Yeah,
addition.
yeah.
So we think that's a good buffer. So that's the first variance. The second variance is the setback from Londergan Place. As mentioned, that's a 50-foot, or that's a public right-of-way. Our proposed building is, the blue part is what encroaches into that 25-foot front setback. So just like we provide the 25-foot front setback here, there's the same 25-foot required setback along Londergan Place. And our closest distance there is 6 feet, so we're looking for 19 foot of relief. On the south side, our closest point is 19.2 feet, or no, let's say 19 feet. So we're looking for 6 foot of relief on the south side. The existing condition is very similar to that with the existing building that's there now. It's similarly located where our proposed building is. We had looked at trying to avoid that variance by shifting the building, but that would require parking in the right-of-way, and we didn't think that was a good idea. There's currently signage along the fence. There's no parking, keep that area open. So that's the second variance that we're requesting. And again, this, the intent of providing a nice buffer to the right-of-way, it's more of almost serves more like a utility easement to the town. When we first started looking at the property, we did talk to the Public Works Department, and they had no objection to us driving on that, similar to what currently happens, provided we don't change the grade and impact the utilities that are in that right-of-way. So those are the two variances that were.
Now, the utilities, are they, to serve this building, are they gonna be coming in from Lonergan Place, or all coming in from North Main?
They exist right now off of Lonergan Place, so we intend to improve those and keep those.
So like, where's the bathroom gonna be in?
The sewer is off Lonergan, water actually.
Water and sewer is, I'm assuming there's gonna be a bathroom there.
Yeah, generally, we can take the sewer out either this side or this side.
But that's, I just don't know what was
We
planned.
can do it both ways.
Okay.
For this proposed building. With the utility being available there, we probably choose to do it there.
Looks like it's shorter.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a water.
And there is an oil water separator for the, inside the bays when there's a charger dripping. So the oil water separator gets located outside the building, and that would be located in that same area. So we developed the plan, being sensitive to the zoning that's in place for the property. We think it's the minimum variance needed to still fit the needs of a new commercial use. It would be a significant improvement with a nice new building, a nice clean operations. We're providing a nice buffer to the residential to the south. We think the request for our variance along Lonergan Place is consistent with the current operations, so it's not going to be detrimental because it's really replicating what's there now. So that's about our presentation. Again, we're open to any questions. We have operations here, if it's more operational questions, more engineering questions.
I guess one of the questions I had was the concrete, because it doesn't show on your pictures, is the concrete sidewalk going to continue across the curb cut? I mean, because your pictures are a little deceptive, because if you look at the picture, it doesn't show the sidewalk continuing.
Yeah, I noticed that this afternoon. If you go to the site plan,
Yeah, the site plan shows it. Yeah.
That actually shows the new
Yeah.
concrete sidewalk.
Yeah.
extending through along with the
I mean,
sidewalk.
assume it'll be the same width as what's there currently.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our colored up site plan didn't pick that up very.
But I just wanted to make sure the sidewalk was going to continue across the apron where you're coming.
Yes, yes. There would be ramps there to transition down, also driveways.
With a typical 8-bay facility, what's the typical parking associated with that?
Yeah, Firestone requires for us that we provide about 30 stalls, anywhere from 25 to 30. I think we're at 29 on this site.
Yeah, 29, including the 2 handicap, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's more than sufficient for our needs.
What's the intended use of Lonergan Place? So is
Just to
it
kind
going to
of
be,
function like it's functioning now, it would be, we mill and resurface the pavement area because it's deteriorated. We wouldn't go any further than it currently is paved now. So if you were to go out there, you'd see there's pavement in this area for the previous use, and then it just kind of stops, and then it's more of a kind of a grass. So that's the intended use, is replicate what's there now. We would improve the pavement that's there now and not extend it any further.
open to access and egress for people coming off of North Main?
Yes,
Yes, this would be a full service, a full access drive, but not beyond that point. So it'd facilitate the maneuvering into and out of the site. We would expect this would be the primary entrance with the entry feature to the building, but
we will,
like now, it would be 2 full access curb cuts is what we're proposing.
we improve the radii on the existing road to improve that turning mobility.
So deliveries and dump trucks would come down Lonergan
Not dump, oh, you mean like,
to get the
Yeah.
trash in the tires?
yeah, probably, yeah.
Either or.
Or come through, turn around, back up to there?
Yeah, a lot of the deliveries are front loaders for the dumpsters, so that would probably come in off of, on the east curb cut. Yeah. And the truck, the deliveries would maneuver, probably anticipate maneuvering this way and then leaving the site. They're coming in on the west and exiting the site on the east, or could do the other way too.
But all the activities will be within the bays, and will the doors be open? I mean, I'm just concerned about noise, 'cause,
Yeah.
those air things are pretty loud.
Yeah.
And I'd like to, as much as possible, keep those bay doors shut when work is going on,
Yeah.
because they are loud. And I don't know, how far that noise goes, but,
It's 90 decibels for one of those air machines, and it can travel up to 1.5 miles,
but
even
that,
with fences.
yeah, well, that's why I want to make sure that,
Yeah.
that in terms of this stuff, that there's protections for the neighbors, that we don't have,
Generally, they do operate with the doors open. If the board wants to place a condition that they operate with the doors closed, we're okay with that condition.
Mr. Chair, can I say something real quick? Just so we don't get too far off topic, but this hearing is just for the variance issue. A lot of the stuff that you're bringing up is actually probably gonna go to the planning board if this gets approved after the fact, because the use you're proposing is allowed by right in this district, but it will need site plan review because you're constructing a brand new building. And typically, a lot of those concerns, like with the noise, buffering, affecting neighbors, all of that will come up during that public hearing later on. And of course, all the abutters who are notified about this hearing will get re-notified about that planning board hearing after the fact.
right, but one of the things I am concerned with is we do grant the variance, because we don't give the full buffer, is to make sure the noise, from our point of view, isn't gonna go to the neighborhood, because we're trying to keep it in, with the intent and purpose of the buffer zone, to try to limit that noise.
Just for clarification purposes, I want to make that.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I think we still have the right as part of our variance to say, hey, noise out of the rear of that building to be limited, and that they don't have the things open and hearing air guns going off all day.
Yeah.
Because I know those are very loud.
Yeah, we did a noise study recently on a project up in Michigan that we developed a couple of years ago. And the typical tire lug nuts is
Impact.
no, not the other one. For the impact wrench is the typical lug nuts. The impact hammer is the louder one. Impact hammer is not used that often. The impact wrench is used a lot because of the lug nuts. Typically, they operate in the colder weather. The bays are heated, so the doors are closed, and then typically it's not air-conditioned space. But again, if the board would, if that's a concern, the board wants to impose that condition, we're fine with it. That the store operate with the doors closed.
In your presentation, you said that you had looked at other alternatives that potentially might not require a variance. Can you talk about what the alternatives were and why you resulted in the current?
Yeah. Again, with the two variances, one idea was to push the building that way, but with the parking, you want to park on Lonergan Place, and we're at the parking that we need for our operations. The second one was to, rotate the building up, kind of like Friendly's is kind of rotated up to bring that up this way. We would be within the 25-foot setback. So we made the decision, well, let's just request this variance, maintain the nice 25-foot buffer along North Main Street, recognizing that we're 157.7 feet to the first residentially used property. And then with the buffering and the fact that we felt it would be better to provide that 25-foot setback and requested the variance here.
I know you mentioned customers would come into the entrance on the west principally, but nothing would stop a customer from coming in Lonergan Place and going in that way, in addition to exiting. So as I look at it, where I would probably be exiting is Lonergan Place. That just feels more natural, especially if the car gets backed out into one of those back spaces. Is that a fair read of the?
Yeah.
flow?
The store entrance is on
On the,
western side, opposite the blue, so where the handicap is. So naturally, cars and people visiting are gonna wanna be in those front spaces along Friendlies, and then fill into the back as needed.
Yeah, the customers are destination, so they'll know that this is their entry. So yeah, we would fully expect this would be the primary entrance. That they want the shortest walk to the entry door to the building, which is right there.
And we'll have a sidewalk connection to North Main Street, and there'll be a pylon sign as well.
Any other questions from any board members?
No, I think I covered everything.
Did Jim want to ask a question? Jenny?
I don't have anything right now. I think I will soon.
Okay. Do you want me to keep the plans on the screen throughout the rest of the evening?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
like.
I think that'd be helpful, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll keep the zoning one up so you can look at it better.
Thank you.
Yep. There we go.
Is there anybody else to speak in favor? Yeah. State your name and address.
Ralph Page, 137 Keys Road, East Long Meadow.
Just a heads up to folks who are in the audience. So the mic will only pick you up if you're sitting at this table. So if you're saying stuff back there, we're not gonna be able to hear you very well on the Zoom and stuff. So if you want your statement to be on the record, you have to do it from up here on the table.
I just had a couple questions. Can I go to the screen?
Yep.
Over on this side right here, this is Lonergan.
Correct.
This appears to be this triangle here, asphalt. And I would assume that they're gonna be asphalting part of their front area in order to access the dumpster. Because I've done some calculations, the large truck coming in here, I don't believe there's enough room to turn, pick up the dumpster and then come back out. So I think they're actually gonna do this so that trash trucks will be coming in Lonergan to get the trash. They may back out and go that way.
And I think it's currently paved, as I recall.
Just Lonergan.
Yeah, with Lonergan, I think it's probably outside of Lonergan that I could see when I went up to the site. It looks like it's already paved. Where the flower shop or wherever that thing, I think actually it's paved right up to the building.
I do have a question.
Yep.
And again, I'm just trying to go back in my memory.
Yep.
I thought we had, on all frontages, a 10-foot landscape buffer that was required. And again, I may be right, I may be wrong. Obviously, there's one on North Main Street. They're gonna be looking to do 25. But if it's on all frontages, then there should be a landscape buffer on Lonergan, which it doesn't look like they're gonna be providing.
Right, I mean, I think
And would they need a?
maybe we got a pre-existing, well, it may also
The
be,
impervious surface is already there. They're kind of grandfathered in that way, but they are providing it towards the front and the rear. So they're already hitting those two areas. I know there's also a requirement for landscape buffer. I think it's 25 feet from any neighboring residential properties, which is what they're also doing on the rear as well. And the two properties to the sides are commercial. So that, I think a lot of that layout is already what exists today, and they can kind of work off of what's there already. So if this was a brand new project where it's already, there's no impervious surface whatsoever, then those rules would strictly apply.
I would normally say yes, except they're tearing down the whole building and they're going to be tearing up everything, which really takes away from a pre-existing condition. But that, in the back of the property, one thing I did like that I noticed was that they were going to be doing an A&R to join the backlots and make this one whole parcel, which I think is great, because then down the road, no chance of them selling off a part of the back or anything and saying, well, that's a separate lot. As far as in the back, I know they had talked about doing like a 4-foot berm. Nothing is shown now. And we all know if it's not on paper, they don't have to put it in. And if they're gonna do a fence for noise, 6-foot fence with a berm, it really should be included.
That would
And that'll
be a
be
condition.
planning board.
Well, that would be potentially one of our conditions.
And I'm not sure if, and again, the neighbors would be able to speak better on it, whether a fence on top of a berm would be more appealing, or larger arborvitae's or something on that idea.
I think, just advice to the applicant, if this were to get approved and moved on to the planning board, dimensions and renderings showing those different features would definitely be needed on site plans for the planning board. Thank you.
Like I said, overall, I think the layout, cleaning up the place, I think this is a lot more feasible than a.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult site because it's very narrow and being in 2 zones.
I didn't realize that it was actually frontage on 3.
Yeah.
Although they're not.
They're not heavily traveled ways.
Exactly, but again, it does create frontage on 3, which makes a lot more.
Monaghan, I believe, is only a private way, isn't it?
But it's still considered right of way.
Yeah, no, it's a right of way. I'm just saying but it's not a public way.
So if they're gonna be re-asphalting, do they have to bring it up to town standards?
I believe so. Even if it's a private right of way, it still has to be the same standards as any public way.
Okay. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Ralph.
Any other people that have questions or speak in favor? Hearing none, I'll now open it up to anybody who wishes to speak in opposition or questions.
Yeah, hi.
Aye.
My name's Bernadette Bonner. I live at 2 Laundrigan Place. The first residential that they're talking about is my house. A concern on this with like the things that they're asking for and the traffic of the trucks. That is still my like road that I use. I park in the front in the summer, fall, spring. And the same with that road. That was also paved. They're both paved. What happened is when a tree fell down, and the owner of that site put a whole bunch of dirt down to like even it out. So it was all paved, but because it's a private way,
The private people have to take.
private people have to pay for it. So that's why it's never been paved again, because that's very expensive. But my concern is, because that's like only the 25 feet for the road, which I know is the legal amount for a road, but it's a small road. And with the large trucks coming in there, that is where ambulances come in. I'm also concerned from the fact the flower place before, they don't care about those signs. They park there, the truck parks there. I'm not saying that will happen, but this is a place that's gonna have much more traffic than the flower place. And I call like about 3 or 4 times a summer with the flower place, the cops, to get cars to be moved so I can use it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we could probably, I mean, we don't have any control over the private way.
Correct.
That would have to go through the select board or something, but we could basically indicate there's gonna be no parking on the paved portion off of the private way.
Yeah.
To keep that. Now, show me roughly where your house is on Lonergan. I assume it's to the east, down by where Amoretti is?
Sorry about that. I'm gonna,
Yeah, if you can go,
yeah.
that's,
You're like,
why is my house is right here,
okay.
but I feel like this,
Well, you're like on the intersection, you're at the end of Lonergan and at the
Yeah, like
intersection of Amoretti right there.
Could be the trees covering it too.
Probably a tree.
yeah, because my house is like, there's not that much space between my house and the road.
Okay. Are you on the south side of the road or are you like on the north side of it?
This is my road this is my house right here.
Okay, yeah.
And this is like my yard right here.
Okay, yeah.
And again, I know like a lot of my concerns, because we've done this before with the other place that wanted to be here, a lot of them are after this. But again, just the concern of a lot of that stuff. Because again, and also just doing that one little bit is gonna ruin the rest of the pavement. Like, because I still use it, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with private ways.
yeah.
You know, the neighbors can piggyback off the work somebody else does, and they can wreck it, but,
Yeah.
you know, the other person can't force them to fix it.
I know.
Thank you. Any other people wishing to speak?
Yeah, I'd like to speak. At 12 Kingman Avenue.
So just, can you
Just
just,
so you can pick up your,
you kindly state your name one last time?
Richard Zemanek, 12 Kingman Avenue.
Thank you.
I've lived in this town for 32 years. You try to pull out a Lombard, and you might as well pack a lunch. That's at 7:30 in the morning.
you can't take a left.
I think the town is waiting for someone to die a very tragic death over there before they do anything with it. Has that been accounted for with Firestone? Has there been a traffic study?
That isn't in our purview here. That would become, I would think, part of the planning board.
But that's even before the, should,
So this is variance, they're saying for particular reasons, we are gonna ask for not having to meet the setback requirement on Lonergan and the rear setback 100-foot. Those are the two that they're asking for.
that makes no sense if you're involving 3 different streets there.
Well, I understand, that's, they're asking for variances off of Lonergan
Yeah,
and from the back. Those are the two variances they're asking for. The question you're having in terms, I can't force them to have a traffic study because we're not site plan, we're only addressing the
could
variances.
you recommend that to the town, or?
Well, I suspect the planning board will probably want some sort of a traffic study in terms of the
require it.
amount of traffic that's gonna be in there, but I can't tell you that we're gonna require a traffic study because it really is irrelevant to the,
It doesn't go with this board.
We got about 4 feet of space there.
Yeah.
And then you're just trying to cram more into it.
So the authority that's going to approve the construction of this building after the fact, the planning board, usually has a requirement, they do some sort of traffic study or trip count or some sort of information to get a better idea of what it's gonna look like after the building's put there.
And Firestone is probably one of the largest, Firestone Bridgestone. I work for a company, I used to be the finance manager over there. They used to be, they are one of the largest companies, and they did not provide any kind of expected traffic to anybody so far.
So not for this petition, but they will for the next one after the fact. So this petition only looks at the dimensional measurements of where the buildings can be placed on the property. And that's pretty much the issue that the zoning board here is discussing tonight.
if
So.
we didn't grant the variance, they then couldn't put the building there, and they couldn't come in with a site plan to the,
Sounds like we're just chasing our tail here, if it,
well, no, the planning board has more control. They'll control the lighting, the noise, the stuff, but we're
Traffic.
considering the noise and the traffic and things, but it's the variance, or because they have to show based on the layout of the parcel, the uniqueness of the parcel, and we're trying to keeping with the.
and did anybody look at like Firestone's record of basically pulling a Walmart on everybody, where they put one set of stations in? Next thing you know, they're replacing it with a huge station, and then that station they're closing it.
Well, I mean, part of our approval, if we're going to approve something, is going to be approved based on what they presented tonight and the plans they presented. Now, they may amend them because the planning board may want other things that we're not going to address. So I can't say that'll be the final plan, but they'll have to come back to us if there's going to be significant changes to the plan that they've got. But you know, one of the conditions here is it gets built in accordance with the site plan and the stuff that's been presented, the building plans that have been presented this evening. If it gets built in a different fashion, with different bay structures and different locations, because the planning board changes it, they'll probably have to come back to us.
I agree with what Frank just said about if you're gonna put buffers and everything else in, get it on paper.
Well, yeah, no, we would have that as part of, because if they presented that they would have a wall and they'd put a 4-foot thing that would go above the wall,
And
and have
next time,
planting.
next time any of you four gentlemen drive down Lombard.
Right, but we don't have any specifics as to what the plantings are gonna be. The planning board usually says, we wanna know exactly what the plantings are gonna be and where they're gonna be with a planting plan.
But next time you drive down Lombard, you stop at that intersection, think of me, and pack a lunch.
No, it's terrible. I bet I'd come out of there.
Put lights in all over this town like it's no tomorrow, and over there, it's like, well, it's only that part of town.
Yeah, I mean, you're better off to take a right and then go to the lights where the shopping center is to get out.
Off living on the other side of town. Okay, I'm all set, those are my questions.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be here for future meetings.
Patty Alex, I'm at 125 Smith Avenue in East Long Meadow. Just have a question on the Lundrigan Place. You know, it's a much higher elevation, so getting down into Lundrigan Place is a big drop. How are you guys gonna address that? I don't know how to read this, so how are you addressing that? By making things so much lower? It looks really nice on here, but how are you gonna address that so it is not such a big drop going down?
Are you okay with me answering that?
Yeah, no, that's fine, yeah.
So we haven't done final engineering yet, but, you know, there is, the building that's there now is quite a bit higher than Lonergan Place, and there's quite a steep drop off in the peak. We don't have, we're not sure what our final finished floor elevation will be, but we will have to take into account that. We are not planning any parking in this area, but it would still have to be sufficient so that you can maneuver the space without, you know, being too steep, because it is very steep.
Well, especially if you're gonna have vehicles coming in and out there.
Right,
And it also, Lundrigan Place is very narrow. And I know that was one of her concerns of traffic. You're gonna be pulling in and out, in and out. Best thing would be, it would be hard to make it one way because that would affect her. You know, entrance only, exit only, or maybe entrance only pertaining to.
That's not our board,
That's
you know,
not up to you.
unfortunately,
Okay.
Yeah.
we don't have jurisdiction over that.
So we don't have the final engineering of how, you know, what the grades will be like in that area, but it'll have to be reviewed by the town.
You'll probably have to keep your storm drainage on your site.
What's the current distance from the existing building to under?
If you can go to the surveys.
The distance from the
Distance from
current,
the
the
current
existing
building.
building to Lonergan? 15 and a half feet?
If I can confirm that, I just have to zoom in here.
If you zoom on the corner,
Yeah, my eyes just are not good. I saw it there, but, yep, 15 and a half.
the road, I mean, technically on paper, it is 24 feet wide, but it's just because of the grade change on the side of that building, and it becomes narrow. We'll look to improve that in the future.
So technically, the existing building is a non-conforming.
It's a pre-existing, but you're gonna be expanding the pre-existing non-conforming.
Yeah.
Thing, because you're gonna be actually closer, a little bit closer to the actual Lonergan than the existing building is.
Well, they're tearing down the existing building anyway.
Right, but the new building is gonna be a little bit closer, so you're gonna make the non-conformity a little more non-conforming. Are there any other people who would wish to speak or comments? Going once, going twice. last chance if you want to speak.
Can I speak from here only because?
The problem is we're being taped, and that may not pick you up from back there.
If you walk this way, it'll be easier to get to us. Sorry about that. Yeah, just come up to the front here where the table is, and the mic can pick you up very easily.
My name is David Vitavelli. I live on 61 Newberry Avenue in East Long Meadow. My interest here is I have relatives who live right in that area. They're not here because somebody 83 is saying they're elderly. Right? But I object to it only for the reason that I don't think it's the right business that should be there. The people who live on Roderick, their backyards are right. They're gonna live with looking at that. And I'm familiar with the automobile thing. I own an automobile repair place. But this one operates 7 days a week. So the noise that the other lady was talking about and stuff, you're gonna have that every day. You know, I have nothing against Firestone, believe me, I send them stuff. But I just don't think that it's the right business for that parcel. And asking for a variance, this isn't a little bit, it's 19 feet, you said?
Yeah, it's 25 foot, yeah. That's the closest point,
Yeah.
you know.
But that's it, that's my gripe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So is everyone that wishes to speak spoken? Hearing none, I don't know if you want to have any rebuttal to what was said or whatever.
Go back to the aerial with the colored up site plan. Not really a rebuttal, but just,
Oh, that one.
Yeah. I'll zoom out a little bit, sorry about that.
yeah, that's okay. That's it. Go out further. Yeah, that's good. So this, that image there, that kind of that shaded area, that's really from Google Earth or Google Maps. There's really not pavement in that area. I guess from the testimony we heard that maybe they put dirt on that, but there was pavement in there prior. Again, we don't intend to, pave any further than what's there now.
There'll be an impervious surface?
It'll be a pavement, impervious, yeah, and it has to be the town standards. We'll make the standard. But we only intend, this limit is what's there now based on our survey. We only intend to improve that area. You know, I guess if there's some request from the community to pave that further, I guess we could look at it. I didn't realize from visiting the site that some of the people drive this way. I know this house has a pool right there, so it'd be difficult to drive.
Well, they're on Roderick.
There, yeah, that house on Roderick, there's a driveway that ends and then there's a pool, so I guess from what one of the neighbors said that they actually drive that way. I didn't know that, but, I don't know if there's any
desire to pave that, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would probably ask is that there be a gentle thing, so you don't have this cliff off at the end of where you pave, and, you know, that there's a
Yeah.
gradual thing, probably, but, you know, that's us, more of the planning board.
We wouldn't intend to change the grades at all in this area significantly. There's utilities under the public service is not gonna want a significant grade change,
Yeah, yeah.
if any grade change.
No, but I just don't want where you pave to have a big, you know, huge bump or something where you lose the bottom of your car when you go from the dirt road onto the pavement.
Yeah. And I guess if you can go to the last slide. What's interesting to note is this zoning line, as it extends from the west, you know, it's the same along here and then along Landrigan Place.
And it goes
drops
down.
You know, it's almost like if that line were here, we wouldn't be talking about that. So we're again, we would still have that under contract. We couldn't sell it, we couldn't do anything with it. Yeah. That's it.
Could I possibly clarify something, because that's my house they're talking about? That's a driveway and it's the back of my house. The front of my house is on Amaretta / Lonergan. So yes, I do park cars there, but both me and then the other neighbor use that in anything other than winter, because,
Doesn't get plowed.
yeah, oh, no, it does.
Oh, okay.
They do, they plow it. That's gonna absolutely wreck the idea of your road, because they do plow it all the way down through.
So you can still access the other street from your house, correct? Or is it only, you can only access Lonergan?
So all my deliveries, if I were to order takeout, if I get Amazon, if the police, fire, ambulance, they all come from Lonergan.
Okay.
While I do have a driveway there, that is not my main access point. For the town, on paper, my access point is Lonergan, Amaretta.
Okay. Thank you. Question, bring up the town officials.
Yeah.
So I'm going to close the public portion of the hearing for comments, except that, you know, we'll wait to get comments. Any questions, board? Jim, do you have any questions?
So you had no questions?
No questions. Fran? Do you have any questions?
Any questions? No, I answered all my questions.
Okay. So, as we told, we're going to close the public hearing. I'll entertain motions pro or for or against the variance. And we'll have to take a roll call vote. And if you want conditions, and why you believe it.
So here's my issue, you know, and Dan's not here, so he can't talk about all of the reasons behind variances and all this stuff. The question that I asked about alternatives, the fact that there are alternatives it strikes me as to the need for a variance, whether you truly do need a variance if you can position this building in a different way. The concern that I have is on the 6 feet buffer between the edge of the building and Lonergan. And with Lonergan being used for access and egress, I think that there are some safety issues that give rise to concerns in my mind. The back buffer, I actually, if the only variance was the southern variance, I think I could get there, but I have concerns over such a narrow window between cars coming in and out, and the current usage of Lonergan is not what is going to happen. 27, 29 spaces with movement coming in and out every day, all hours, that's going to get a lot of use. So that gives me some real concern, safety on Lonergan.
From what I understand, from what they discussed to me, that if they moved the building to the west, they would lose parking, and they may not have enough for parking. And they'd have to get a variance for parking, which would create a problem.
Right.
I guess that's a concern. I mean, I have your concerns about like that steepness, the drainage, the closeness to the road of the building. You know, in terms of there, and you've got you're gonna have a dumpster truck going in. I don't know how frequently they'll be coming in. Is that once a week, twice a week? Once a week. And what about the deliveries?
Once a week as well.
And the same thing with the removal of the old tires and stuff?
Once a week.
Okay.
And all of those are during the operating hours.
Yeah.
If I could add, as far as access on Lonergan Place, the proposed condition will create a 24-foot wide improvement of that roadway. So right now, it's got restrictions on the slopes that are to the side of the existing building. So now, in the future case, we'll modify the engineering and develop the site so that there's true two-way clear access for safe ingress and ingress.
But there'll still be a good-sized drop-off, paved drop-off from the side of the building, the east side of the building to Lonergan? I don't know what the drop-off is.
The grades, you can't really see much, so
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to see what grade, that's what.
And by the way, I'm for the improvement of this spot, this usage. It seems consistent with the nature. I mean, we've got Frank's to the east, right? It's a consistent usage. I have.
Yeah, it's an allowed use in the zone
concerns
with
over
site plan
that
approval.
very narrow.
I mean, yeah, I think a lot of the issues we're trying to bring up are not really our board members' issues, other than things we want in the.
Right. Part of it is we have to address the public,
exactly.
concern and
That we're gonna
protect the
wanna
public
put in.
good, and that it's, the purpose of the intent is to make the building safe so vehicles don't hit the building, because they're too close to the road, those types of things, like mirrors and stuff, hanging off the side of a big truck, slamming into the side of the building is not what we're looking to do, because it's a narrow road and they're gonna be going up and down. So it is, from what I could see, is it 6 feet
Yes.
If you can go to
at the closest point?
You go to the last slide, we have a good dimension.
Yeah, the dimension line now.
I had to look at stuff on my computer. All right, so last slide.
Yeah, it looks like 6 feet is the closest spot,
Yeah, right here, 6 feet.
Right, that corner.
that corner.
This corner right here is a 29.9-foot dimension, and then a 6-foot dimension to the building corner.
Right,
So it's really about 36 feet from the.
right. What's the setback requirement?
the
20,
pavement- The pavement.
10 feet? 25 feet.
Not quite,
So we'd be giving a 19-foot variance on that. at
On that
point.
corner.
Yeah,
That's correct.
but to be fair, the roadway, from what it looks like, the road's about 25 feet long or wide.
Wide, right.
Yeah.
24,
There's roadways in town that are way more narrow than that.
right.
And just from a practical sense, from what I've seen in other projects, that is a sufficient width. to have-
Coming into and out of North Main is a
problem.
is an issue.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And it's not on a side street.
Right.
It's just the big trucks coming in and out.
Yeah, but we've only talked a couple deliveries.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it's only gonna be.
And that's why I asked the question on what the existing, because I've got a vision of what that building is right now, and another 10 feet.
Yeah, I mean, that is a concern that I have in terms of being that close. Now, whether the building gets pushed in the handy, whether you have enough access aisle, if you push the thing back, 3 or 4 feet.
I think where it is the best location for it. I mean.
Yeah, no, I mean.
It's a good
close.
use of this property, without a doubt. It's the best use that's been brought in front of us, by far, by far. Jim,
Yes.
any comments?
I'm just curious if there's whether any possibility to just have 7 bays, or if 8 bays from a business standpoint is absolutely necessary.
I thought of that too, but I said,
What, the final bay on the east side, it's not as big as,
Yeah, the door's not as big, it's, they call it an alignment pit, so I think it's where they do their front end alignments. For some reason, they don't need the door to be as big as the other doors.
you only do car alignments probably, right? Is that,
Is that right? Yeah.
it's just car alignments you do, right? You don't do any truck. Yeah. Right, just the rack
There's no repairs being made.
in that last bag, yeah.
Since I don't have the luxury of having a no vote from anyone, if there is a no vote, I'd like to, before you vote, I'd like to know, and then, the concern is just the narrowness of that corner. I'd like.
Well, that was my question. Could the building be moved? Because you have to have a certain access aisle, and you've got 2 handicap spaces that would be impacted and pushed back toward that. But if you moved it 3 or 4 feet and gave yourself 9 or 10 feet.
or
from
move the handicap spaces across the parking.
Yeah, you could probably keep them, but if you move, say, 3 or 4 feet, you'd move
That
the
grass
parking
area.
spaces back 3 or 4 spaces, but you may still have adequate access by just moving it.
You wouldn't have that grassed area, you're saying, that little.
Yeah, might not have the
Lose
grass,
some
but
of that,
you may
yeah.
lose some of that, but have it, and the parking space would be moved. And I think you'd have big enough, I just don't know the dimensions of the access aisle between the thing, but that's the
Or
widest
lose one
point.
bay, like Jim was saying, I thought the
Yeah,
same
and even
thing.
if you lost one
Could you
parking
take one
space up
bay
there,
out, would that make a difference?
We can't lose a bay, we can.
No, I think you can lose couple of parking
Yeah.
spaces. You've
Yeah.
got a couple
No,
of
I just-
spaces there right by Friendly's that are like, there's a small area there, but.
You're
might
only
lose
talking
one or
5,
two
6
spots.
feet, right?
Yeah,
That's what we're talking, but we can't move within this limit of the existing.
yeah.
No,
Right, no, but if you lost 2 parking spaces, you'd still have
Yeah.
27 spaces, which would be probably more than enough. So if you did move the building,
Answer for you on that.
Yeah.
what I'm saying is you could keep it sort of the way it is parallel now, but
square
move
footage,
it further west 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah, and we.
And you would give yourself, instead of 6 feet from the edge of the road, you'd give yourself, probably 9 or 10 feet, which I'd feel more comfortable with, which is similar to what they have now there, I
And
believe.
that's not far.
I didn't measure it, I
Closer to
couldn't tell.
15.
Right,
It was
I-
15.5.
Huh?
It's 15.5 right
Yeah,
now.
well, according to dimension, I couldn't tell when I looked up at the site, because it's all paved. So I wasn't sure where Lonergan began and ended when I went there.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I'd give you the opportunity.
we're okay, obviously okay with being tabled, and I ask, come back and look at that and come back next month.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking move it, back, just take it and keep on the same line, but just move it back where those handicap spaces.
Yeah.
Because what are those, usually 10, 12 feet?
9 or
9
10, 9 or
feet?
10.
That 20,
20, 18 or 20.
8 by 20.
Eight
They
by
are
20.
20s.
Yeah, so,
The town code is 20 feet long.
yeah, so if you got 20 feet and you get the sidewalk here, so you're gonna keep a sidewalk there, but, I mean, if you moved it 4 feet,
Your request.
I think you're still gonna have probably a wide enough, what's the access aisle have to be?
The proposed lot is 24 feet. That's enough. That's what you need for two-way access
The road, for the road, you mean?
for the driveway. And
Driveway.
again, similarly for the,
But, yeah, I mean, but if you lost 1 or 2 spaces here, you then would have an even, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
So, Mr. Chair, just to clarify the metrics, so because this is a car service station,
Yes.
they need 3 parking spaces per bay. So since they have
24.
8, yep, exactly. So as
24,
long as
right.
they can keep at least 24.
Yeah, they'd have
29 right
27.
now.
They'd probably lose 2 of them maybe here.
Right,
Along out these 1, 2 there, I'm thinking, maybe 3. But they'd still have 26.
You have enough.
And the parking count includes handicap spaces.
Yes.
So if you still had the 2 provided nearby within that 24, that meets our code.
Yeah.
So that's something else to keep in mind too.
Gotcha.
But I think if you would just maybe lose the three
Right,
right up to
three
the
there in the
beginning, right
corner.
where the beginning of Friendly's. But I think it just makes it, it's still a drop off on the building, but you're just being a little further from the road, I feel a little bit more. It's just because you got, you know, those trash trucks are good size, and they got the wide mirrors and, you know, and stuff so they could see. It's like, and my concern is that they'll probably pull straight in, but I'm hoping that they leave going out this way and not go down Lonergan. I'm thinking
Yeah,
they would
that's what
probably
they
come
would
in.
do. They would turn around.
Yeah, I mean, this seems to be the easiest, and they could just do a small backup and then go back out.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
But I would like, I don't mind having it paved, but you're gonna still have a grade problem just because of the way the land lies. You're gonna have a drop, and you don't wanna necessarily have to put a retaining wall there. But that's, you know, I'm not an engineer, but I figure that could be worked. But I just, you know, one of the issues is you got no other choice. And here you possibly have a choice to move the building to the west, and you might be able to help accommodate. And so your variance, instead of a 20 or 19-foot
19,
variance, it'd be like a
14.
14 or 15-foot variance.
Understood.
Yep.
And then the back, you might not even need a variance.
Well,
Yeah.
we still have to
Whatever,
have
you
it
might
on
be
that
doing
wide,
that.
wide side.
Probably
Yeah, it would just lessen it a
less,
little bit.
we would, yeah, we would,
It's 6 feet now, you know, the variance.
Well, not on.
I actually think it's,
not on the.
no, it's
The
19.
back, the narrow part, the 19, it's 19 feet there, it's 6 feet, right? It's 25 is what you're required, and then
Oh.
you have 19, right?
No, it's 19 to get to the setback.
that's just,
South.
Right, and they have to be 25
Just
feet.
happens.
So it's 6 feet. The variance, right?
If you move the building forward, they'd be need a 2.
They would go this way, right?
Right, but you need a 2, is what,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, well, the whole building moves, so
4
this would
feet.
be, yeah,
4 feet.
yeah, so it would
So if we
be
got 6, you
6, you
might,
may still have a 2-foot
2
variance.
foot, right,
yeah.
right.
Would just be.
But it would make it a,
With
right,
less of a variance.
less of a variance, right, that's all.
I don't know.
So I guess the concern on that side was just because the building seems like it's too close to the roadway.
Right,
You're trying to see if you can shift it further away.
just to
Further
give
away
away
from the
more.
road,
Yeah.
it's just,
Safety
you know,
reasons.
because I can't guarantee it's a private way.
Yeah.
People have a right to improve that road. I mean, including you, if you wanted to widen it to the full 25 feet, you could. I can't stop somebody who has a right in a private way from improving the street they want. And if someone decides to make it the full 25 feet, you're very close to the building, and I get nervous with big trucks that close to to the road, that's all. You know, because they're coming off on North Main Street, you know, coming in
The whole site is
on the turn, you know.
Yes, yeah,
so we're gonna have to do a lot of digging there.
right.
Because I don't know the width of a trash truck, but they're pretty wide,
Yeah, they're 8.5.
8.5 feet.
Yeah, plus your mirrors.
Plus your mirrors.
Right.
But the roadway itself could accommodate large trucks.
Oh, yeah, no, I think it can.
Without a
It's just,
doubt.
I just don't like the building that close.
Yeah.
If it ever got developed, then you got a building that's 6 feet away from the road. that's
At your
all.
road, yep.
Makes sense.
So,
Okay.
what I'll do then is we won't close the public hearing. We'll continue it. What do you think in terms of timeframe to,
We'll have to look at the deadlines.
then,
I'd like to be at the April meeting, but it may go to the May meeting.
Okay.
So right now, the April meeting is the 27th. The May meeting after that will be the 18th of May.
So what's the deadline for submitting for the April meeting?
So because you guys have an existing application with us, just the Thursday beforehand, or actually, sorry, typically for the zoning board, we want to see stuff a week before the meeting, so the Monday beforehand.
Okay.
Because the board likes to have the time to review during the week.
19.
so roughly the 20th of April.
So if it was the 18th of May, the 11th of May is when we expect plans. If it was the 27th, the 20th of April, so ever the week prior is.
I got you. Okay, well, given that, I think we can make the April meeting.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll continue this hearing
April
till
27th.
April 27th at 6:30 by proclamation, so that there won't be another publication or notice then. If people are interested, we'll be back here on April 27th. They're going to be coming in with a revised plan, moving that building westward, whatever they tell us they feel is appropriate. And we'll vote on, maybe, or maybe we won't, and maybe we'll have 5 people. So they have a provision under the state law, we have 5 people, that they can look at the tape and the testimony here, and they can swear under oath that, you know, they've looked at all that material and they can act. And so if we have the 5th member, that person who wasn't here tonight,
Yeah.
could
They can participate.
basically review the material. I had to do that for
Yeah, when you.
the last one, so.
Do we need a motion to
I
continue?
got a motion to continue.
I move to continue the
And
27th.
you second, okay, we have to take a roll call vote. Jim, are you in favor?
Yes, I am.
Fran?
Yes, in favor.
Charles? Yes, you are, and I am in favor. So this matter has been continued to April 27th at 6:30 PM right here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Rob, I will not,
Gotta do that. What's that?
I will miss the May meeting.
The May.
Yeah.
Well, we may not even have
We
the
need to-
meeting.
Okay.
Okay, now we got to address the other
Just that other,
issues,
just
just
fix
the other, the minutes.
Hey, folks in the back, we asked everybody to keep it down a little bit because we still have the meeting going on.
So,
Thank you, thank you. Have a good night, guys, thanks.
We need to just read
Yeah, no
that
problem.
one, so we can.
okay, so
We just have
with
to-
regard to the matter, case ZV 2025-05, we have a letter dated February 17th, 2026, on behalf of the applicant. I'll read it to the board. It's addressed to me, the chairman, to continue the public hearing at 0 Prospect Street, East Long Meadow, for Assessors Parcel 45-1-0, RLA Levesque, Project File 250221. Dear Chairman Begley and board members, on behalf of the applicant, property owner, Mr. Jeffrey R. Mitchell, we respectfully request that a public hearing scheduled for February 23rd be continued to the regularly scheduled meeting on April 27, 2026. On September 22nd, the applicant submitted a permitted use application with Eversource to obtain authorization for a proposed single-family home within their easement area. To date, Eversource's review and sign-off on this item is still pending. We believe it most productive to return to the board once that process is complete. Thank you for your consideration. Let us know if you require any or different information in support of this request.
No.
And it's Nina Fazio, permitting coordinator. And I will continue that to the 27th. We'll take a motion on that.
I second.
Jim, you in favor?
Yes.
Fran?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
So, Mark, yes, and Charles, yes. So it's
Did you,
unanimous to continue it to the 27th.
Mr.
And we
Chair.
do have a written already from them indicating that we got
Yes.
the waiver on the 100 days to make our decision.
That was what that letter was. And also, could you just state one more time for the record who made the motion?
I made the motion, Fran seconded.
Okay, thank you. Just so the minute takers don't, the episode will be later after this meeting.
And then the last thing is just to approve the minutes for the last, because
Oh,
we
yeah,
have,
right.
with the 4 of us here, we have enough to
Right.
approve our
Prove
minutes.
that, yeah.
You have 2 sets.
So,
I move to approve both sets of
Yeah.
minutes as previously.
Second.
I second.
favor, Jim, are you in favor?
Yes.
Yes, so it's unanimous. The motion, once again, Charles, and seconded by Fran, and approved by all 4. So the minutes have been approved for September 15th and December 8th.
And then you have to close.
And now we need to have a motion to close the meeting.
I move to close the public.
Charles seconded.
Second.
Fran second. We'll do a roll call. Jim?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Yes.
Fran, yes. Mark, yes. So we'll see you all hopefully on the 27th, God willing.
That's right.